Subscribe right now and hit the bell icon, or this fat spider will crawl over your face while you sleep. And the extracurricular activity of the day is, wait for it, 10 things you didn't know. How much does New Zealand cost? Why collect spiderwebs? Where do unicorns come from? Now turn off your cell phones and pay very close attention, because class has just started. Number 10, Forever Young. Fountain of Youth? Not for this sea monster. Scientists have discovered a jellyfish that can live forever. The immortal jellyfish, known scientifically as Teratopus doherni, instead of taking the normal path towards dying after having propagated, reverts to a sexually immature stage. Its tentacles react, its body shrinks, and sinking to the ocean floor, it transforms itself back into its juvenile polyp state. The 4.5 millimeter wide species can repeat this process over and over again. And the only way for this jelly to die is if it gets eaten by another fish. Number 9, the Tipsy Prince. Bottoms up! No, not you. Prince Charles drives a car that runs on white wine. The luxury race car is the Prince of Wales' way of approaching climate change. Driven by him since he was 21, the Aston Martin smells delicious, works better, and is more powerful than its petrol-consuming competitors. The Prince is known to be environmentally conscious. As a longtime vocal advocate of sustainable practices, he helped usher in the royal family's first all-electric car, as well as leading the charge to switch the royal train's fuel to use cooking oil. Eco and boozing sure make a nice couple. Number 8, polar bears. Did you know polar bears aren't white? Their coat has no white pigment at all. While their skin is black, each individual hair is a clear hollow tube, which only looks white because of the reflected light. This provides them with a coat so well camouflaged in Arctic environments that they sometimes pass as snowdrift. Their oily fur works as a water repellent, making it easy for them to shake off water and ice after taking a refreshing swim. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Polar bears take very good care of their personal hygiene. This is because fur that is dirty, matted, and wet does not work well as an insulator, making it easier for them to lose heat. Who would have thought that taking an ice bath a few times a day helps you keep warm? Number 7, my evil twin. Have you ever mistaken a random person for someone you know? A doppelganger is a biologically unrelated look-alike, or a double of a living person. The phenomenon is sometimes portrayed as paranormal. John Donne, the English metaphysical poet, saw his wife's doppelganger in 1612 in Paris, on the same night she gave stillbirth to their daughter. Surprising as it may sound, having a doppelganger is much more common than we think. According to the Hindu scripts, there are 7 identical people at any given point in time. The number of genes that decide the contour of your face is limited, making it more likely for us to come face to face with our twin stranger. Need help? Upload your photo on one of the many websites, and the facial recognition software will match you with others of the same appearance. Number 6, spiderwebs. In ancient Greece and Rome, doctors used spiderwebs to make bandages for their patients. With natural anesthetic and antifungal properties, spiderwebs can help wounds clean and prevent infections. No wonder that web clusters were used to stop bleeding in soldiers. First, they would clean the wounds using honey and vinegar. Then a wad of spiderwebs would be placed on top of the wound and held until the bleeding stopped. Spiderwebs are also rich in vitamin K, which plays a role in blood clotting and bone metabolism. So next time, instead of going to the pharmacy, just head to the basement for some organic band-aids. Number 5, blood donations. Donating blood saves lives, which is why Sahlgrenska University Hospital in Gothenburg, Sweden, sends a text message to donors when their blood has been dispensed to someone in need. What is the reason behind this? When it comes to blood donations, the most common issue that arises is the donor doesn't know the recipient, making it harder for hospitals to convince donors that donating is beneficial. But with the new system that started in 2012, Swedish donors now have proof that their contribution impacted someone's life. Number 4, unicorns. What comes to your mind when you think unicorn? Fairy tales, ancient Greece, Hercules maybe? Wrong answer. Try again. Scotland! That's right. The British country of strong belief in magic and superstition declared unicorns to be their national animal in the late 1300s. In Celtic times, the unicorn was a symbol of purity and innocence, as well as masculinity and power. The mythical creatures live in forests, but can also be found in low mountain ranges. They spend their time munching on grass and hiding from wild hunters. There are around 1,500 to 2,000 unicorns in the world. However, due to their invisibility powers, that number could vary greatly. As creatures of gods, they are the strongest of all animals, and have for a long time been associated with royalty. Perhaps that's why the founding fathers of Scotland put their image on the country's coat of arms. Wild and untamed, these beasts will fight to the end to remain unconquered. Number 3. The Pemba Effect. Hot water freezes more quickly than cold water. This is called the Pemba Effect, named after a Tanzanian high school student who noticed that his milk and sugar mixture cooled faster if put into an ice cream churner while still hot. For decades, physicists have debated whether the phenomenon actually exists, and to this day, scientists are still not sure what exactly happens. There are speculations, however, one of which being evaporation. Hot water loses more water molecules than cold water, making it easier to freeze. Other factors that could play a role are the concentration of dissolved gases in the water, and the substances mixed in it such as salts and minerals. So, next time you're making your grandma's famous gelato, don't forget to put it in the oven first. Number 2. Place your bid. Some of the weirdest things have been sold on eBay, from grilled cheese sandwiches to clippings of Justin Bieber's hair to lunch with Warren Buffett. But nothing tops the Australian man's attempt to sell the country of New Zealand. The 2006 listing described the country as the dodgiest American Cup win ever, and said it was very ordinary weather. The auction gained a lot of interest with 6,000 hits, 22 bids, and a selling price that climbed all the way up to $3,000. Eventually, eBay pulled the auction off its site. Clearly, Australia is not for sale, a spokesman for eBay Australia said at the time. Number 1. Russian astronauts. The International Space Station is known for having its modules and operations in Russia. How to prevent things going wrong in space? Well, you can start by speaking the language. All astronauts on the ISS must know how to speak Russian. And while you would think the training to become an astronaut is tough, some astronauts have claimed that learning this new language was the biggest challenge of all. According to the US State Department Foreign Service Institute, English-speaking astronauts can expect to spend up to 1,100 hours in class to reach a reasonable level of fluency in Russian. That's twice as long as it usually takes to learn languages like French or Spanish. Spacey boy, did you manage to jot it all down? Now leave a thumbs up and subscribe to Inside Tens for more entertaining content. And make sure to watch our other videos on the left and right side of the screen. See ya!